US visa ban on corrupt Nigerian officials. Ambassador Lilian Onoh's legal woes and comeuppance why her attempt to defend Wike and attack Sowore backfired by Franklin Ole Jr. Okay? A few days ago, Nigeria's former ambassador to Namibia, Lilian Onoh, published an opinion piece entitled US visa ban on corrupt Nigerian official. Sowore shot himself in the foot on the ongoing corruption saga, engulfing Nyesom Wike, the embattled minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Wike has been repeatedly exposed by Nigerian rights activists and the publisher of Sahara Reporters, Onoh Sowore, a globally recognized investigative platform. This time, his fraud was unraveled from an international angle, one beyond his reach, dragging him all the way to Florida and into the orbit of State Attorney General and the US government. For Wike, it marks one of the most dangerous moments of his political career. True to form, Onoh rushed in to defend him. In an article, she attempted clumsily and unsuccessfully to discredit the exposes. She suggested that Onoh Sowore, who led the revelation, should be the one subjected to a visa ban and possible revocation of his green card, and not Wike, defender of the defenseless. She went further, recycling old defamatory claims, even alleging that Sowore had committed grievous offence while at the University of Lagos, quoting the disgraced former Inspector General of Police, Mike Okiro. But Lilian Onoh had forgotten that Okiro was himself seriously exposed by Sahara Reporters when he was the IG of police. But even at that, Okiro on national TV recently praised Sowore as a notable activist worthy of celebrating because of the way Sowore exposed the current IGP, Kayode Egbetokun, who had been illegally appointed by President Bola Tinubu for a 4-year tenure. She, Lilian Onoh, also falsely accused Sowore of colluding with former Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema to produce an adverse report about her tenure in Namibia as ambassador, a posting from which she was ultimately fired by the Muhammadu Buhari regime. What Onoh failed to tell her readers was that her intervention had little to do with the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. It was personal. Like so many corrupt officials, she bristled at the exposure of her own misdeeds. Sahara Reporters had once removed the veil from her corruption, and she has lived in that shadow ever since. Her animus towards Sowore was not because he targeted her unfairly, but because he refused to shield her. Sowore does not deal in corrupt friendship. Onoh's real troubles stemmed from her dysfunctional family feuds and her corrupt practices as an ambassador. She rarely tells the public that she is the younger sister of Bianca'S or Ni Onoh, now Tinubu's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. Nor does she openly discuss her bitter disputes with her former in-law, Geoffrey Onyema, whose marriage into the Onoh family ended badly. It was this mix of family feud and corruption that doomed her tenure, in Namibia and led to her firing. Sowore dey sabi something. When disgrace came, Onoh fled to the United States seeking asylum. Her immigration lawyer reportedly warned her that her affiliation with Buhari's corrupt regime could sink her case. To salvage her prospects, she reinvented herself as a victim and whistleblower, claiming she was hounded for fighting corruption in Namibia and Jamaica, where she once served as charge d'affaires. But public records, including a government panel report into her tenure, told a different story. Her feud with Onyema spilled into court. In Nigeria, she was dragged before Justice Keziah Ogbonnaya in the FCT, where she ultimately lost. Her attempt to blackmail the judge by alleging bias failed. The court ruled against her in a defamation suit. Humiliated, Onoh pivoted back to the US, filing a defamation case in Texas against Geoffrey Onyema, Sowore and Sahara Reporters. She falsely claimed that Onyema had bribed Sowore at Sahara Reporters' supposed New York office to malign her. She forgot that in 2021, Sowore was restricted to Nigeria by the Buhari regime and that Sahara Reporters' New York office had been shut down since the COVID-19 pandemic. Initially, she celebrated a hollow victory when Sowore, restrained in Nigeria, could not respond, leading to a default judgment by the US District Court. However, after she rearranged and amended her lawsuit to exclude Geoffrey Onyema and co., she was able to proceed, but her joy was short-lived. Sowore and Sahara Reporter later secured competent counsel in Texas. The court vacated the default judgment and dismissed her, substantive claim, citing incurable jurisdictional flaws. Though the dismissal was without prejudice, Onoh never appealed nor refiled because he had glimpsed the mountain of evidence Sowore's lawyers were ready to deploy about her corruption in Namibia. Interestingly, while she threw tantrums and accused Nigerian judges of bias and threat to her life, she dared not try such tricks on the U.S. District Judge in Texas. She knew better. In Nigeria, her aunties often doubled as fodder for her asylum claims, painting her as a victim of bias whenever she faced the consequences of her own misconduct. In truth, Lilian Onoh is emblematic of Nigeria's tragedy. Born into privilege as the daughter of former Governor Sisi Onoh, connected to the ruling class by blood and marriage, yet choosing corruption over service. She and her ilk, political heirs who squandered opportunity and indulged in theft, have left Nigeria impoverished, divided and broken. Even at that, our legal woes may just have started because they are the natural comeuppance of life lived in impunity. Wow. It is well. Stephen Alexander said this is how women should be given power. I laugh in Swahili. As Clifford says, are we going back to the infamous days of J.S. Tucker and Dabo? You tacker me, I dabble you. Yes, nah. Isaac Ezeke says, I was 3 years old when I realized the opposite of sorry is comeuppance. Please finger this comment. I want to come back to it again. Hey, Zaka says, nice update. Maybe he's Wike side chick, obviously, because why are you defending him? As Natasha disagree for Akpabio. Ugo Chico says, comeuppance, grammar deal, now we don't know. The English can't sound like come and pass. Hey, Lucky May says, don't blame the rope for being short, blame the well for too deep. Ekonaye says, Lilian Onoh wants to behave like Professor Mbeke, don't mind her. Mobodo says, so nobody can define the meaning of comeuppance for me. You can go and Google it now. Google is your friend. And it doesn't mean that there is no graduate in Nigeria. So you said you don't know how to use Google. Use it, Google it now. At Best Davison says, see them, women. Otomewo says, when will the pepper sweet ready? Because I'm ready to eat. Oluwaku Priscilla says, UK and other European countries should follow the footstep. At Esco says, good for her. Alumo says, God of vengeance. Victoria Banachi says, who gets Oxford Dictionary? I beg borrow me to go and see the meaning of comeuppance. Alowole says, as they pain them, they sweet us. One name Mana says, good for her. Next time she will not put her mouth. So you will need to sorrow loro. And they say, story for the gods. Someone says, indeed, she got her comeuppance. My listeners, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.